Hi, Jean. This is Libby. The purpose of this video is to talk with you a little bit about how the library might partner with you for your redesigning your training for your Writing and Media Lab student consultants. So this is very different from what I'm doing for the other faculty members who are redesigning a class, but I'm excited about it and I think we can come up with some great stuff. So this is going to be maybe just like part one of a brainstorm, and maybe we can talk a little bit about it via email or Zoom or some other way. But I thought of a couple of ways that we can partner together. And it's interesting that you're revamping your training, because we're also thinking of really beefing up the training that we give our student assistants at Research Assistants. And we're thinking about perhaps doing a semester-long training where they'll complete modules each week. We're hoping maybe we can, or well, we were before hoping we could raise their salary so that it would be considered more of a commitment to work for us. And so my main ideas for us to collaborate would be to work on cross-training with our students. And just a couple of areas I thought of, maybe you can think of more. On our website, we have our citing area, and this seems like a place where we really could collaborate in training our students together. One of the things that we're working on as librarians is this idea of the scholarly conversation, and using some, I guess, theoretical kind of constructs about the scholarly conversation to explain citing. And I know it's really helped me to think about why we do it, why it's important, how to read a citation, how to create a citation, what the different styles are for, and this idea that you enter into the scholarly conversation in your paper. It's not just a mechanical thing that a rule that you have to do so you don't plagiarize, but it really shows that you're starting to be a scholar yourself. So, this is our citing page, and we both want our students to understand the theory behind it, as well as getting familiar with how to help students that come to us with citing questions. So that was one area that I thought that we might collaborate on. The other one is cross-training on the reference interview. And I know a few years ago we collaborated with Jean Childress, and so I guess it's a while ago, before Tracy was in charge of the students. But when Jean used to supervise the students at the help desk, we had some sessions that we did with them on the reference interview. And really, anytime you're working with customers and you want to talk about how to ask questions in a way that elicits good information, how to have patience, how to probe, how to broaden or narrow somebody's thinking to help answer questions. This is just really good for any of our students who are working with some kind of a public to bring them information. So I thought that might be one place we could work together. And I just recently read an article about using improv techniques to help students or help anybody doing a reference interview. And the idea behind it is you never shut down the question. So in improv, when you're given a situation, you never say no. You say yes to it, but you say yes and then you kind of start riffing off of it. And it's just this idea that if someone comes and says to you, do you have a book about green lions? We don't want our students to say, no, that's stupid. We want them to say, Yes, I think I can find some books for you if you'll tell me more about what class this is for or what your assignment is. So that's just a silly example, but just this kind of idea that you um, don't lead with your no's, you don't lead with your negatives. And I can imagine that your students working with freshmen in a FYW who've come to them for help with their paper, kind of this way of, talking to them that's positive, and isn't like, oh, this is the worst paper I've ever read. But, well, I like the way you did this, but let's expand here, so that kind of thing. So if you want to talk about collaborating on either of these things, let's have that conversation. And I guess this probably wasn't exactly helpful for you redesigning your training online, but we can brainstorm about how we would do that on any of these things online, because that very likely may be the what we're dealing with in the fall. So I hope that was a good start, and I'll talk to you soon.